A scale of sense. I think we stopped last time here, no? A scale of sense that climbed his fiery feet to heights of unimagined happiness. Recast his being's aura in joy glow. His body glimmered like a sky shell. His gaze to the world was swept with seas of light. So there is a kind of a change in the very physical of his. In the very physical. It is not transformation yet, but the glow is different. Means the light or the paradise of life gods, it is that which is giving him a certain kind of an illumination, you see. What you see? A scale of sense. Sense, all our five faculties of cognition. Behind that there are greater, subtler senses like that. So that is the scale of sense, you see. It is not only eye and ear and nose and things like that, but behind that there are subtler and subtler faculties of understanding and cognition. It is that scale he is climbing with fiery feet, bright, luminous feet, you see, to heights of unimagined happiness. Means, see, after all, our happiness, the way we look at our happiness is a sensual happiness. By senses only, we feel good or bad or evil or nice and things like that, you see. So it is a sensual happiness. Now here, it is a happiness of coming from subtler and brighter kind of senses which is there, you see. Heights of unimagined happiness. Rekha, his being's aura in joy glow. So now see if our senses don't really make us bright. Don't make us bright. If at all they kind of dull them down, they bring a kind of a darkness around us. If you see bad things, then the whole cloud is bad around you and like that, you see. To heights of unimagined happiness, recast his being's aura in joy glow. His body glimmered like a sky shell. His gaze to the world was swept with seas of light. Now, he is talking about both the things simultaneously. Sense, faculties of cognition, as we have seen. As I said last time, many times we have said also, you have got five senses, behind that is the manasa, behind the manasa the sadhyana sense, beyond that is all these faculties of senses are there, you see. His body glimmered like a sky shell. His gaze to the world, gates, what is the gate? Senses are the gates. You see, you hear, you perceive, they are the gates to the world. Now these gates are of a different kind, superior scale of senses. He is seeing now, his senses have heightened to such an extent that those faculties are what are seeing the world. Not our mental manasa faculties, but higher spiritual faculties have opened out for him, you see. So they are the gates. This is the gate, actually. These five indriyas, five senses, they are the gates of cognition, you see. To the world was swept with seas of light, you see. So they have become absolutely luminous, you see, completely, you see, the senses, you see. Sky shell, glimmer like a sky shell, body. You see, our body is made of number of sheaths, gross, causal, physical, gross, subtle, causal. These are the sheaths of body, you see. Or if you want to take on the material scale, you have got the earth, you have got then you have got earth, then water, then fire, then air, and then sky. These are the five elements which make our physical body. Now, so all the lower order, what is happening in the sky shell, the ethereal shell, the top, Akasha. It is the Akasha part of his body which has become bright, you see. Sky shell, sky is used purposely. Akash is the most subtle kind of the physical existence. Subtle kind of. His body glimmers like a sky shell. Did I tell you this thing last time? Did I tell you this thing last time? No?
Yeah, we did it.
No.
We did that last time.
His gates are the senses are the gates. His earth. He talks of sky, now he's talking of earth. Prithvi, Avtej, Vayu, Akash, all those things. He's talking of earth, sky shield. Now earth, his earth. Prithvi, the physical. Dowered is celestial competence, dowered, gifted. His celestial competence harbored a power that needed now no more to cross the closed custom line of mind and flesh. Because his senses have now become beyond, he had gone beyond the mind, beyond the flesh, beyond the vital, beyond the mental, beyond the vital, beyond the mental. Harbored a power that needed now no more to cross the closed custom line. So, you see, normally in our life, it is through mind and life that we have to go beyond. So, the custom line for us is life and mind. Now, he doesn't need those things at all. He has gone, his senses have gone beyond that. To smuggle Godhead into humanity means we smuggle Godhead by our faculties of life and mind. How beautiful poetry, beautiful art, beautiful creation, these are powers of life acting here, philosophies, ideals, lofty reasonings, scientific things, they are the ideals of humanity. It is you are building a philosophy to bring the higher spiritual values here. So you are smuggling that Godhead through your philosophy, your by reasoning, by your scientific investigation, or by art, by beauty, by expression. So you are smuggling Godhead through this faculty. That is not required. They come now directly to Him, you see. They are coming directly to Him. To cross the close custom line of mind and flesh. So it's not required now, you see. And smuggle Godhead. That is always smuggle Godhead, you see. Beautiful art. We are really actually smuggling. We are not even aware that we are expressing like that. When a person is in a great state of inspiration, he gets it immediately. How it has happened? He has kind of smuggled. That thing. It shrank no more. What? What is that it? Earth. Is earth. It shrank no more from the supreme demand of an untired capacity for bliss. Even his physical now is able to bear any amount of bliss. Untired of bliss. He shrank no more from the supreme body. It, earth, body, both, supreme demand of an untired capacity for bliss. A mind that could explore its own infinite. A mind that could explore its own infinite. And beauty and passion and the depths reply. Nor feared this so now glad identity. Where spirit and flesh in inner ecstasy join, annulling the quarrel between self and shame. So that dichotomy is dissolved at that point, you see, between self and shame, form and the formless self, you see, you can say that way. Spirit and flesh, life. Well, the dichotomy, the Cartesian dichotomy is between mind and spirit, mind and matter, you see, mind and matter. Here he is talking of spirit and flesh. We also many times we say the spirit is willing, but the flesh is not willing. We often say that, you see. The spirit wants it to happen, but the flesh is incapable of. So that dichotomy has gone away for him completely, you see. And beauty and passion, and the death's reply, nor fear the swoon of glad identity. See, this is the whole thing. Our body, our existence, our build-up is such that it is too much joy, we kind of break down. Too much joy, we sort of break down many times like that, you see. So that is sense of danger in a way. But here, nor fear the swoon of glad identity. That is not the same. Where spirit and flesh in inner ecstasy join, annulling the quarrel between self and she. It drew from the sight and sound spiritual power. So, the power is coming from the spiritual sources. It shrank, it drew. In the previous sentence, it begins with it, here is it drew. Again, that earth, it means to say. It drew from sight and sound spiritual power. It drew from sight and sound 3 I am. Spiritual power. Spiritual power. I think 2 amphibrachs, yeah. Made sense a road to reach the intangible. Intangible. You see, our senses cannot really touch the intangible. In that sense. In the synthesis of yoga, Shivananda says, the alembic, the telescope, the microscope, the alembic, the retort, they cannot know things. These are the senses, these are the faculties. He is giving an example. I mean, you may have a very beautiful telescope. You may look into the depths of matter through a microscope. You may have alembic to do chemical transformation. You have scalpels. All those instruments are there to study the anatomy of man. But then they cannot really touch the subtle part of it. None of them. Scalpel cannot cut the subtle part of it. It is so subtle that it cannot connect it. To a certain extent, the modern tools of science are able to get into that kind of a depth. You see, I mean, you are studying, for instance, the core of the atom, the nucleus below, the fundamental forces which are operating there. Now, by certain kind of instrumentation, you have been able to develop faculties by which you can go into subtler and subtler realms of matter. Still, that does not touch the core, the subtlest part of matter. You may are able to penetrate deep enough, but then you still always escape that thing. Always escape. That build the substance of life's deeper soul. It thrilled the supernal influences. It, again, same thing. That earth nature stood reborn. Earth nature, well, that is what he is now. Reborn, comrade of heaven. So, comrade of heaven, which means the denizen of heaven, will have those subtle senses, those faculties which he has described here. He has now become a part of that. In other words, what are the ways by which the people, the denizens of heaven see, perceive all that thing? That is what we have got here, a complete description of that, you see. They don't go by mind's reasoning. They have their own ways of looking at things and understanding things immediately, you see. A fit companion of the timeless kings, equal with the goddess of the living sun. A fit companion, the timeless king. Who are the companions? Who are the kings? Timeless kings. Equal to the goddess of the living sun. He mixed in the radiant pastimes and born. timeless kings, the powers of the transcendent which govern all these operations here. Whatever is going on here, they are the governing. After all, they are the powers, executive powers, faculties, gods. Varuna, Mitra, Bhaga, Aryamana, Savitra, Pushana, Agni, Indra, they are the timeless kings. They are governing the transcendental gods of the Rigveda, not the later gods of the Rigveda. That distinction is required. See, the later gods were of a different kind. The Puranic gods are actually overmind gods. But the transcendent kings are absolutely in the timeless kings are absolutely in the transcendent. Varuna, Mitra, Bhaga, Aryamana, Savitra, all these Adityas, the 12 sons of Aditi, they are the transcendental kings. They are the ones who are governing everything is here. Equal with goddess Vishnu also, the transcendental Vishnu. Goddess are the living sons. He says living son, Adityas, son, 12 Adityas, 12 sons of Aditi. He mixed in the radiant pastimes and the unborn, pastimes and the unborn. They are always there. They don't take birth. They are always there, unborn. You see. Mixed with radiant pastime. What are they? What are their pastimes? Pastimes are not for amusement, but for pastimes are not for amusement, but for creative activities. For creative activities to promote things here. That is their pastime. It is not that they are listening to music, seeing the dances and watching the dramas and things like that. They are not a pastime, so their creative activities, their creative engagements. He makes the radiant pastimes and power. Heard whispers of the player, never seen. You see, even behind this God, this timeless king, there are people who are never seen and they are playing. He is the one who is the player behind this God, the player, the Supreme himself, player, Krishna, flute player. He is the one behind all these gods, kings. Heard whispers of the player, never seen, and listen to his voice that still the heart. Listen to his voice that still the heart, and listen to I am spirit. Listen to his voice, I am, that stills I am, again I am. And listen to his voice. Player, Krishna. We are listening to his voice. He is speaking all the while. And draws it to the breast of God's desire. That voice is drawing, and listen to his voice, that still the heart and draws it. It stands for heart. The heart is drawn to the breast of God's desire. Still the heart and draws it to the breast of God's desire. What is God's desire? What is his play? He is a player, not only music, his play is not just lila, it is the possibilities of creation multiplying in their glory, in their brightness, in their beauty, joy, happiness. These are the things which God desires to be. And it is towards these desires that the heart is drawn. In other words, he is there now to participate in the God's play, to bring those faculties which are waiting for manifestation here in this creation. It is that, and draws to it to the breast of God's desire. And this phrase God's desire appears a couple of times in Savitri, God's desire. And draws it to the breast of God's desire and felt its honey of felicity, because it is sweetness, it is music, it is play. And felt its honey of felicity. Now this is God's desire. This is for God's desire. And where is honey of felicity flow through his veins like the rivers of paradise. Swarga Ganga, rivers of paradise. Swarga Ganga, paradise. Swarga Ganga. Flow through his veins. So even the physical, it is now those rivers, that Swarga Ganga, the heavenly stream are flowing into his veins, you see. Flow through his veins like rivers of paradise, made body a nectar cup of the absolute. What a tremendous thing. His body itself now can hold the joy, the nectar, the amrita of the Supreme. It can hold the amrita, nectar. Immortality. Nectar stands for immortality, amrita. You see. His body, therefore the body is able to hold that immortality in it. Nectar, in a metaphorical sense, amrita is basically immortality, joy. Made body a nectar cup of the absolute. So what else is required? It is not the physical body now, it is something different altogether, you see. Now, this is, of course, as far as he is concerned. For him, everything is there. He doesn't need transformation. It is already there. Whatever faculties of the Supreme are required, they are present in him. Shivantu says, I don't want transformation myself. It is not required, it is not there, it is not needed, because it is always there. It is always there. So it is a question of transformation that way, you see, at that point of time. So his sadhana, his work was not for himself, it was for the collective, for the evolutionary march of this. Made body a nectar cup of the absolute in sudden moments of revealing flame, in sudden moments of revealing flame, in passionate responses, half unveiled. He reached the realm of ecstasies, unknown to us. The poet is narrating the story of somebody, and the poet is telling you that this yogi has reached that place which are not known to us. See, he is narrating the story of somebody, the poet, that this yogi has reached that place and has that ecstasy which is not known to us. It is not unknown to him, to us. He reached the realm of ecstasies unknown, a touch supreme, surprised his hurrying hand. The class was remembered as a wonderful, and hence leap down of white beatitude. So that is the kind of the paradise life offering to him. Life gods, this is the paradise offering to him, you see. In sudden moments of revealing flame, annulling the quarrel between self and shame, annulling the quarrel between self and shame. At the moment, in our present state of existence, there is a quarrel between spirit and mind, spirit and matter. The dichotomy is there. Now that thing has been annulled, glimmered, swept, devoured, all these phrases here. A scale of sand, pardon me? A scale of sand that climbed with fiery feet. Now all these phrases, sands climbed, body glimmered. Both of them are intransitive verbs. Intransitive. A scale of sense that climb with fiery feet. With feet. Same way, recast his being's aura in joy glow. His body glimmered. It is an intransitive word. It does not need an object. Like a sky sail. His gaze to the world was swept with seas of light. In sudden moment, in sudden moment, so sudden I am, then more I am, ends of Pirik, we I am, link, frame, again I am. So there is a Pirik in between. In passionate responses, half unveiled, he read the realm of ecstasies unknown. Now, well, because this is still a part of the paradise of life gods, what is happening is he is simply reaching the rim, not really perhaps entering into that domain. You are on the borderline there. You have come to that point, you see. Realm of ecstasy is unknown. A touch supreme surprise. It is still a touch, it is not living. The glass was remembered as wonderful, and hence leap down of white beatitude. Eternity drew close, disguised as love. You see again, all these things are again intransitive. Eternity drew close, came closer, disguised as love, and laid its hand upon the body of time. Now, and laid its hand, it stands for eternity. Eternity drew close and laid its hand. It stands for eternity. Whereas disguised as love. So, eternity is neutral, it. Whereas love is feminine, upon the body of time. A little gift comes from the immensitudes with all that thing, but measureless to life is gain of joy. So whatever comes is, for us is measureless. All the untold beyond is mirrored there. A giant drop. How it is mirrored? Now he is explaining how it is mirrored. A giant drop of bliss and noble overwhelmed his limbs, and round his soul became a fiery ocean of felicity. A fiery ocean of felicity. A giant drop of bliss. Giant drop of bliss. Drop, what we call it in Sanskrit, bindu. Point, bindu, drop, bindu, bliss. So the bindu has become Sindhu. Drop has become ocean. Drop has become ocean. A giant drop of bliss, unknowable, over a man's body, and ocean, a fiery ocean. So the bindu has become Sindhu. Or we can also say that after all, in this drop, in this bindu, is always present Sindhu, the ocean. We don't recognize, but it is there. Even the small little drop, the whole ocean is really present. We don't know that thing. You take a small seed, the entire tree is present in that seed. A giant drop of bliss, unknowable. He says bliss which is not knowable. Overwhelmed his limbs, and round his soul became a fiery ocean of felicity. A fiery ocean of felicity. Felicity. So what a great change. So actually, Shivandu says, when I see Shivandu's that picture, he's standing erect like that, he says, I see him as a fire burning there. As a fire present there completely. He is not somebody. Divya Agni, the whole fire is there as a present. She says, from her room, when she is looking at the samadhi, she went to samadhi there, she is looking from the window at the samadhi. What do I see there? I don't see flowers. Flowers are of course there, all those things are there. I see constantly fire burning there. I see constantly fire burning at the samadhi. How many of us know that it is really fire which is really present there? You see, our faculties are not really opened out to see that fire, that Agni, that Yogagni, the Agni of yoga, is Yoga Agni. It is that which is really constantly present around the samadhi. So, to going to the samadhi is actually making an effort to enter into that Agni if we are open ourselves to it. If we can open ourselves to it, it is a way of entering into that Yogagni, yogic fire. Enter. Now, so when we go to the samadhi, our prayer, our aspiration should be to grow more and more in that Yogagni. In that Yogagni. That is there constantly, and we have to grow and develop in that. Well, I will say we have to grow in that Yogagni. I will not say that we have to live in that Yogagni. We are not in a position to bear that fire to live in it. We are not in a position. We are not really grown up at all. We are not prepared ourselves. We are not done enough sadhana, tapasya, that we can live in it. The best thing is to live in it. But at the moment, we are not in a position to do that thing. So, our prayer at the best can be to grow in that yogic fire. Yogic fire. A fiery ocean of felicity. He foundered, drowned in sweet and burning vast. How many of us really realize that what we got here is a burning vast, that yogic fire which is there, Brat Agni, the dire delight that could shatter mortal flesh, the rapture that the gods sustain, he bore. Well, still that is a small gain, because he is at the moment, at this stage, he is sustaining the rapture of the small gods, G small. He bore the immortal pleasure, cleanse him in his waves. So it is the pleasure, that joy, that ecstasy which is really purifying you. So this is something unusual. It is the pleasure, that living, which is really cleansing you completely. Normally, because it is the fire, it is the yoga Agni. Therefore, it is cleansing. Agni is the purifier. It is he who purifies, you see, and turned his strength into undying power. Now, why is he doing all that thing? And turned his strength into undying power. Why does he want to turn his strength into undying power? Whatever he has to gain, he has gained. But then all that he has received, that immortality which is there now in him, that strength he is turning into undying power, not for himself but for his work here, for his yogic engagement here. So it is with that he is now leading into undying power. It is that we should work here, and turn his strength into undying power. It is that we should work here. What is that work? Immortality captured time and carried life. By turning his strength into undying power, immortality captured time and it carried life in it. That happens when his strength is turned into undying power. So, this is the gift of the life gods, the paradise of life gods, which itself is a great thing. But then, with all those great achievements, great siddhis, great realizations, it seems as if they are not sufficient enough. There are things still beyond, still beyond, still beyond. Yes, you have come to a place where life powers give you all these faculties, that your strength can change into undying power, but that is not sufficient enough. So, he has to live the life paradise, paradise of life gods, and march on further and explore what other things. That is exactly what is going to happen now from the next canto onward. So we have left now all the realms of life, starting from canto 3 to canto 9. They are the realms of life, canto 3 to canto 9, now this one. So there you have got all the kind of all the aspects of life, descent into night, how night fell, how things happened opposite which were not intended, but then still they serve some kind of a purpose in the scheme of things. So all those things have been described now in those six cantos, you see, seven cantos. So after life, now we are entering into the world of mind. The world of mind from canto 10 onward.
Can you explain a little bit more the last sentence? The immortality carried the
Captured time, immortality captured time and carried life.
When? Now? Now we are in this?
Because he has got now the strength, that undying power. It is by that he is able to capture time. Immortality is now is not allowing time to move in its own way, but in the way the immortality would like to do things. The movements of time are now governed by immortality, not by transience, not by changes. Movements of time.
Now?
Yeah. Well, now what we are having, our movements are in transient time, transient movement. Now he has got such a mastery with his strength that they need not be transient. Whatever he is going to do will have an immortality stamp on it.
So this it was
And carried life. Now carried life, until now it was not there.
Yeah, but I mean this it was only for the avatar at that time.
It is well, because he has got this realization, it has become universal also. Avatar's realization is not for himself, because time and life, they got changed now. Time and life, they are cosmic, not individual. It is not his time, not his life. T capital, L capital, they are cosmic features, cosmic action. So, in other words, the cosmic functioning of time and life have been kind of taken possession by the moments of immortality. Life, which has been facing all along the problem of death until now, that did not be there, because now it is immortality which has taken possession of that life. So when immortality has taken possession of that life, there is no question of death. There is no question of transience, of perishable things. Time, perishable thing. That question doesn't rise for him at all. Immortality captured time and carried life. Now, see this line, anapes, the T, cap, anapes, time, I am, and care, I am, and I am. So, you have got two anapes followed by three I ams. Immortality, cap, the time, and care is life, 2 NFS followed by 2 AM. Now that is the metrical scansion of this line. You can also see the beauty of this line, the repetition of T, immortality, time captured, the T sound, you see, consistently. The same way, the sound of R, immortal, captured, carried. The sounds of T and R are very powerful there. Same way, there is an element of time, immortality and time, M, L, immortality, L. You see, this line is full of alliteration that way. Basically, it is T, then it is R, that is L, also there. And M. So, is that all right? Does it make sense? A mortal pleasure cleansed him. Now, after that cleansing of his, this has become like that. He is able to capture undying power. The effect of that capturing the undying power is immortality is now in full operation in time and life. Immortality captured time is in full operation. So life which is facing death, that has now been solved. Time which has the element of transience and perishability, that has been taken care of. So now we come to the worlds of mind. Worlds of mind. Canto 10 to Canto 14, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 5 cantos, 13, 5 cantos are the descriptions of the worlds of mind. And the last one, 15th canto, he goes into the higher realms beyond mind. Beyond mind. Kingdoms of Godhead, greater mind. So now the journey is into the spiritual mind, starting from the physical mind to the spiritual mind, all the way up to over mind, and then lastly we have got the supramental description of it in the 15th canto. So now this canto has 4 sections, 66, 67, 68, 69. 4 sections, this canto. And the total number of lines, total number of sentences in this canto is 173. In this canto itself, 173 sentences, 766 lines, long canto, 766 lines. So we will now start with section 66. We'll try to do something. 60, this section is a medium-sized section, 40 sentences and 192 lines. But even then, 40 sentences are quite heavy. 200 lines, you see, roughly. Therefore, he has captured time and life. Immortality has captured. Well, great job done. But that is not sufficient. It is necessary, but not sufficient. It has to be done. It is necessary, but not sufficient. These two must now be overpassed and left with all that glory, his body glimmering and all those things. Well, okay, because there are still greater, higher regions of knowledge, of existence into which he must enter. He cannot stop with that. Now, What is it that makes him think that this cannot be the last? That there should be something beyond this. You see, all those glory, immortality, capturing time and life, what else is required for an ordinary person? But this yogi thinks that that is not sufficient for me. This won't do for me at all. Yes, it is there, it is necessary. I got the hold of it. But then will that bring about the basic change which I am looking for in this creation? Will that do? So he is applying a kind of a scientific test to his achievement, to his realization. Yes, I had realized this thing, but is that the end? Is that what I should get only and stop? Don't pursue anything further beyond that. So he is actually, in that sense, a very scientific in his approach. But the poet says in a different manner, later on we will see that he says that always an invisible magnet drew him beyond. An invisible magnet drew him beyond. Yes, you are here, but this is not enough. There is a magnet which is taking you forward. The power is there, the divine presence is there, the divine command is also there. Yes, this is necessary, achieved. But don't stop there. In fact, this kind of a test is very, very, very rarely applied by spiritual seekers. Spiritual seekers. They don't apply. Have I really realized what is required to be done? In words, when you are doing spiritual sadhana, you have to have some kind of an objective in front of you. I want to attain this. And then all your spiritual gains you have to test against that. Are you able to attain that thing or not? Then it becomes scientific, pakka scientific, absolutely scientific. We normally don't do that. Most of the spiritual history of India is kind of bogged down with that. Yes, they have got great spiritual attainments, but for what those spiritual attainments? That has not come. Because they have not applied the scientific test. They have not posed for themselves a problem. That problem should be solved. And against that, weigh all your realizations. That has never been done in the entire spiritual history. Post Mahabharata, post Sri Krishna, nobody has done that kind of a thing at all. In fact, those 3,000 years of Indian spirituality kind of got bogged down with that. Got bogged down. It has not fixed an aim in front of itself that it must be achieved and then pursued further, you see. That has never happened. So all these quarrels, struggles, metaphysical argument, discussion, perpetuating quarrels, all those things have arisen because of that. Then somebody comes and says, this world is wrong, this world is like this world is like that, this world is an illusion, this world is a mithya, this world is falsehood, and ultimately they pose for themselves only one, get out of this world. So the only test for them is, get out of moksha. Get out of this world, moksha. And do what? Live in Swarga, in heaven. You are a worshipper of Vishnu, go and live in the heaven of Vishnu. You are a worshipper of Shiva, go and live in the heaven of Shiva. You are a worshipper of Christ, go and live in his heaven, you see, my son. Now, so in other words, this is how it has happened. We have become escapist. We have not applied a test for realizing something which ought to be realized, you see. Nobody said that, yes, there is a problem here, can that be problem is solved? And because you are not able to get a solution for that problem, you say this is all mithya, let me get out of it. It's a very dangerous situation. So, in that sense, Sri Aurobindo has brought absolute positivism to the endeavor of spirituality. Spirituality is meant to achieve something. There is a divine will there. There is a God's desire to do something here. Fulfill that God's desire. realize it and fulfill that. This is a design, work out the design here. Therefore, he has that kind of perception always with him. These two must now be overpassed and left. That perception, that dakshanya is there, discernment is there in him. Yes, this is fine, but this must be overpassed. This must be, that dakshanya, discernment is there constantly. Now that yogic discernment is something absolutely unique to this yogi, to this traveler world. All must be, as all must be, until the highest is gained. Well, it's a very easy statement. All must be until the highest is gained. How do I know that I achieved the highest? How do I know I have achieved the highest? You see, I mean, there is the common story. A person wants to go and bathe himself in the Ganges holy bath or whatever it is, you see. And then this traveler goes, he sees a small stream, he bathes in it, and he thinks that this is the Ganges. But then somebody comes, look, Ganges is not Ganges, you have to go further. He goes and sees a big pond there. Then he says, oh, this is the Ganges. like that, he goes on. You know, somebody comes and tells him, look, this is not the Ganges, not the Ganges, not the Ganges. He doesn't have his own discernment there. Because he has not put a test, why I want to go to the Ganges and have a holy bath. He has not put a test for himself. But here, he has a test here, I must reach higher because that highest, reaching that higher has to achieve something here. Has to work out something here. That is the criterion he has to always apply, you see. All must be, as all must be until the highest is gained. So that highest you have to apply a test. And he uses the capital H, the Supreme. How do I know that I have achieved Satchidananda? How do I know I have achieved this heaven or that heaven or whatever it be, you see. In whom the world and self grow true and one. So that is the test. That is the test. It is only the highest that the world and self grow true and one. That is the test. Until then, this world is mithya, it is not true. There is no unity, oneness or divine. Until then. So that is the test, highest, you see. In whom the world and self grow true and one. Monosyllabic line. In whom the world and self grow true and one. The fourth word is spondy, you see. Till that is reached, our journey cannot cease. Now, he is very gracious to say that our journey, we were hardly traveling anywhere, you see. Our pilgrimage is a long pilgrimage. And we don't know whether we have really reached the right shrine. We see a small little god in the village and say this is the finest god. Then you go to other place, you see other places like that. Till that is reached, our journey cannot cease. Our journey, our effort, our pursuit cannot stop until then. Till that time. And the test for that highest is till in whom world and self grow true and one. Until then it is mithya, false and divided. Until then it is all false and divided and true. Always a nameless goal beckons beyond. So he is called, beckons beyond. This is a kind of a magnet which is drawing further and further. 27.6. A visible magnet drew his soul towards the summit of things. Towards the summit of things. So that is the test. That is the criterion. That is the axiomatic pursuit. invisible magnet. Some hand is there, somebody is attracting you. An invisible magnet drew him, his soul, towards the summit of things. But he understands that. So that is a thing. Invisible magnet is taking him through all these worlds of mind, matter and life and mind and even beyond. It is that invisible magnet which is taking him up like that, you see. But here, what we have got here is basically an upward point, the spirit's climbing fire. It is the spirit's climbing fire which is actually the invisible magnet. Here, fire. And upward point, the spirit's climbing. So the spirit's fire will not stop. If you are alert, if you are open to it, it will take you up like that, you see, constantly. And upward point, the spirit's climbing fire, climbing, ascending slopes of heaven. The Rigveda speaks of ascending slopes of heaven, plane after plane, consciousness of consciousness, world after world, like a slope. Ascending slopes of heaven, climbing fire. The fire is climbing those slopes. And you have identified yourself with the fire. Actually, this is exactly what the Rigveda speaks of. Fire, he is the journey's leader. He is the guide. He is the journey's leader. Agni, the process of evolution, is the work of Agni. Evolution is carried out by Agni. Vishnu in the greater form. Agni within the individual. The immortal in the mortal. Why that immortal is there within us? Because it is that immortal who will take us on the spiritual path upward. And our concern is that immortal, we should hear what the immortal is telling us. What should be done? Now, in the case of the individual, we people, that fire, that Agni is a psychic being. It is a psychic being. So it is the psychic being which will tell you, look, go ahead. Don't stop here, you see. In the case of the individual, in the case of the cosmic working, it is the Agni, it is the climbing fire which is taking the evolution upward, you see. Always assigned the zigzag to the gods and upward point, the spirits climbing fire upward. So that zigzag is there, but that zigzag is actually climbing up, you see. It doesn't come back, it is mounting up, climbing up, upward. This breath of 100-hued felicity and its pure, heightened figure of time's joy, tossed upon waves of flawless happiness, hammered into single beats of ecstasy. This breath, this climbing fire, this urge, that is what this means, this breath. What does it mean? Tossed, intransitive verb, upon waves of flawless happiness. Hammered, it hammered. This breath, it tossed, this breath hammered into single beats of ecstasy. This breath of 100-hued felicity and his pure heightened figure of time's joy, tossed, hammered. He is doing two things. That is one this. The second thing, this fraction, the small bit which is there, this fire, this fraction of the spirit's integer, spirit's totality, that little ansha, what the Gita speaks, ansha, I am within you as a little small element, ansha, drop, bit, little bit, ansha, fraction. Mamai ansha. It is what is there in you. It is my totality which is present you as a psychic being. Mamai ansha, my ansha. This fraction of the spirit's integer caught into a passionate greatness of extreme. So that this has done, tossing and hammering. Now this fraction is catching the passionate greatness of extremes. Grammatically, actually, to make it perhaps very clear, it might have been for we people to understand, hammered into single beats of ecstasy instead of a comma, a semicolon. To bring out kind of a distinctness of this thing, a semicolon. This fraction, but the poet doesn't bother about that. He knows he has to understand. This fraction, this ansha, this little bit which is there, the divine Agni which is there is a small bit, caught what? What did it catch? Passionate greatness of extreme. This limited being, again, this fraction, this little being, lifted to zenith bliss, happy to enjoy one touch of things supreme, packed into its, so this limited being packed. What did it pack? This being packed what? It sees small infinity. So actually, that whole infinity is present as a kind of a packed, packed into a sea small infinity. Its endless time made world outpacing time, a little output of God's vast delight. This is what this limited being doing. This limited being is doing what? Its endless time made world outpacing. It is packing the endless world little object. So I got now basically three this year, but basically essentially they're the same. This breadth of 100-hued, this fraction of the spirit, this limited being. So it becomes one single sentence like that. It's a very complex sentence grammatically, you see. A little output of God's vast delight. So after all, it's only a small little thing. Yes, you are living in the paradise of life gods, but ultimately it is what? It is a small bit only of God's vast delight. Please move on till the highest is reached. Till the highest. The moment stretched towards the eternal now. That is the march. That is the fire. This is the fire which is journeying the fire. You see? Space climbing fire. Points upward this climbing fire. Where does it go, this climbing fire? The moment stretched towards the eternal now. Eternal now. He is always present everywhere, in every aspect of time. It is for him, everything is now. It is not division of time, past, present, future. We go by dividing time, but for him, everything is present simultaneously. All the aspects of time's unfoldment are present to him silently. Totem Samuel, that is the philosophical phrase. Totem Samuel, simultaneously everything one at once, total. It is not that you are laying brick and making a house. The whole thing is a single brick. Total now, house. We make a division of bricks and this element and that element. It is not there. For him, it is all one single thing. Eternal now. The hours discovered immortality, but satisfied with their sublime content. On peaks they see, whose tops halfway to heaven pointed to an apex they could never mount. The moment stretched, but they could not go to that higher thing. Pointed to an apex they could never mount. To a grandeur in whose air they could not live beyond that, you see. So he is now keeping the journey open that way. The climbing fire has to climb up. This is not the end of the whole thing. Satisfied with their sublime contents, on peak they ceased. Well, they are stopping there to a grandeur, inviting to their high and exquisite sphere, to the secure and fine extremities. This creature who hugs his limits to feel safe. These heights declined greater adventurous call. This creature, this fraction, all these things are there again. This creature who hugs his limits to feel safe. Yeah, we want to be safe, protected in a smallness. If you open out, we have got a fear that we might get drowned, we might get lost, because we are not able to embrace the whole, you see. Therefore, this creature who hugs his limits to feel safe, you feel happy in smallness, you see. That is our prayer. These heights decline a greater adventure's call. See this again in the same context, till the highest is reached. There are limitations, there are problems, and you are describing the problems here, you see. A glory and sweetness of satisfied desire, tied up the spirit to golden pose of bliss. Well, this is what has happened. Satisfied desire, we are happy. You see, actually, a glory and sweetness. What else you want? What else you want? But then it is our satisfaction only. In verse, you might be good. You might be really very good. But that good should not come in the way of your becoming great. That good should never come in the way of your becoming great. We are happy otherwise, you see. In fact, this is a wonderful way of management principle. Management principle. You have built up an empire of an industry. You are top class. You are at the highest peak. That is very good of you. But that good of you of being top class and all that should not come in the way of your becoming still greater. You are Microsoft, you are Google or whatever you want to call it, Walmart. You have expanded, you have covered the whole world like that, you say. But that good should not come in the way of your becoming still great. Don't close your opportunities, your possibilities. Close doors for becoming still greater. That is the advent of spirit. That is what is required, you see. So our glory is coming in the way of becoming still more glorious. Our achievement, we are satisfied. Yes, my child has passed this wonderful examination. What else is required? But then beyond that examination, there are many prospects which are open to him. Does he open them out? Does he open himself out to them? See, you have done a wonderful painting, you have done a wonderful musical piece or whatever you want to call it, but is that the ultimate thing? Is that the final satisfaction? There are still beyond that, that urge, that search has to be constantly there. A glory and sweetness. So, our good should never come in the way of becoming great. Deshpande may be good, but he stopped by becoming good, you see. It should not happen, you see. A glory and sweetness of satisfied desire, tied up the spirit. Satisfied desire, once you are satisfied, it means you have become tamasic. You have become inert. You are sleeping, you have become tamasic, you see. You are satisfied. That won't do. You have to be always active and dynamic. The dynamism will open out more and more prospects for you. A glory and sweetness of satisfied desire, tied up the spirit to golden posts of bliss. So you are now caught in that good. That good has become a golden cage for you. That good has become a golden cage for you. You are trapped in that golden cage. So, what is the use of a beautiful bird if it is in a golden cage? It has no freedom, it cannot move around freely, it cannot wing in the vastness of the sky. So, maybe you are living in a very beautiful house, but then don't remain tied up with that house in that sense. Open out more and more windows like that. Let good not come the way of becoming great. It could not have the wideness of a soul which needed all infinity. for its home. Not this little small bit here, the whole infinity should become your house. It is that. So that is the thing, that is the kind of a instigation, prompting you to go and more do things, you see. So what is the inducement for you to do more and more? Not greater salary, not higher remuneration and things like that. You see, not that. It should be something more than that, you see. Your prompting, your promotion has to be based on to live in the home of infinity. When you are living in the home of infinity, means that infinite possibilities open out to you. Infinite possibilities open out to you. That is what is meant by living in the home of infinity. Possibility of joy, of creation, of beauty, of love, of truth, of power, of knowledge, whatever you want to call it, they start opening out to you, which need all infinity. The soul is requiring, aspiring for that. A memory, soft as grass and faint as sleep. The beauty and cold sitting sank behind, like a sweet song heard fading far away upon the long high road of timelessness. A memory soft as grass and faint as sleep. What a lyrical description! Soft as grass. You have got those grasses, very soft, you see, velvety grass actually, you see, and faint asleep, it can just waken up completely, see, bright luminosity. And the beauty and call listening sank behind like a sweet song heard fading far away. A memory soft as grass and faint as sleep. See this line, memory soft as grass and faint as sleep, is very romantic. This line, memory is soft as grass and faint as sleep, is very romantic. But it is not old romanticism. It is very modern in its description. Soft as grass is a common phrase in the earlier literature. Faint as sleep is a common thing. But here it has a different shade and connotation altogether. Actually, it means that fresh, living, delicate. Soft means fresh, living, delicate. Now, this phrase, Baudelaire, exotic perfume, le façon, the perfume of Baudelaire. He speaks of sweetness. Exotic perfume, Charles Baudelaire. I see a country bathed in solar fire. What a line. I see a country bathed in solar fire. It's a wonderful kind of a realization if you really think. It may be an imagination, it's a wonderful imagination of his Baudelaire. I see a country bathed in solar fire. The whole world is full of spiritual light and being in that. Whose happy shows its luster never leaves. That's all. That world is happy luster. It never leaves that kind of a thing, you see. That is the exotic perfume. And that is a memory. Memory soft as grass and faint as sleep. Bathed in solar fire, the perfume flask, flowers of evil. In Baudelaire's book of poems, Fleur de Mal. Fleur de Mal.
You have it in French?
I don't know in French. I don't know, but I got in English.
Must be better in French.
I got in English. French, I got that thing in English. Flowers of evil, I got in English. And I read once in a while those things, you see. Very beautiful, very powerful. Fleur de Mal, you see. So this poem is actually from Fleur de Mal, you see. Baudelaire. He was a very gifted person, and Shevendo had very high opinion about his poetry. He has spoken like that. In fact, it is he who kind of opened out new ways of writing poetry. Baudelaire. To French poetry, he has given a new turn altogether. creation. This part? Yeah. Now, about there. And then this line, faint asleep, same thing. There is an allusion for that. Shelley, soft as love. Shelley speaks of soft as love. Here it is, soft as grass. So Shivananda, he uses all those associations. Soft as love and calm as death. Instead of saying calm as death, faint asleep. Shelley is soft as love and calm as death. In his drama, Shelley's drama called Hellas, one of the most famous drama. Away, unlovely dream, away, unlovely dream, away, false shapes of sleep. Be his as heaven seems, clear and bright and deep. Be as he is. Away, unlovely dream, away, false shapes of sleep. Be he as heaven seems, clear and bright and deep, soft as love and calm as death, sweet as a summer night with a breath. Sweet, we got that sweet also no here. Sweet as a summer night with a breath. So this is what we got in Shelley. So Shivananda was a professor of poetry. He knows everything like that, particularly the romantic, the middle period. Everything is on his fingertips, and that it flows easily here like that, you see. Just like that. Like a sweet song heard fading far away upon the long high road of timelessness. Above was an ardent white tranquility. Now, he has given you a kind of a prolegomena or the verse of mind, seen from above. He is describing as a preface about the mind. And then he said, above all this creation, above was an ardent white tranquility, the transcendent. White tranquility, that would stand for transcendent, above all this creation. And then what does that creation do? That tranquility, what does it mean? From the transcendent, which is all pure white, what does it say? A musing spirit looked out on the world. From there, somebody is looking down. From that transcendent, somebody is looking down. A musing spirit looked out on the world, and like a brilliant clamoring of skies, the skies are clamoring on 2 feet and 2 hands, using 2 feet and 2 hands and climbing the mountain. A difficult task. Clamoring of skies, passing through clarity to an unseen light. Large lucent limbs of mind from stillness shone. So what does the spirit see from above? That musing spirit, what does it see from above? It sees large lucent realms of mind. So from above when you see only the bright aspects of mind. Down below, if you go there, you see other aspects of mind coming down here. The look from above is first of all lucent realms of mind from stillness shone. I think we'll stop with that. Then the whole thing continues. Now he has introduced you the world of mind, and from this world of mind, now we have got now all those 100 descriptions of mind. Above was an ardent white tranquility. A musing spirit looked out on the world, and like a brilliant clamoring of sky. So he sees this effort of mind going up like that, passing to clarity, to an unseen light. Clarity, mind's clarity above that. Large lucid lens of mind from stillness shone. Well, before that, of course, he's talking of, because when you are seeing from above, what you are seeing are only lucid realms of mind. Then down below, there will be darkness, there will be other things also, see. Let me see. Well, this can continue, but I think we'll stop with that. Large, lucent realms of mind. Large, lucent realms of mind. I will only say that he is talking now of our mind. From above, he is talking. See, what does he say? Our mind. And then down below the our mind, then other realms of mind are coming here. You see. First image, silver grey expanse, etc. Where day and night meet, ignorance and knowledge meet, that is our mind. We'll continue next time.